As a gal with mature skin, my makeup choices have changed a lot over the years. My skin is drier and some of my favorite foundations just don't play nicely with fine lines and wrinkles or aging skin. So today's video is a roundup of my top 5 foundations. Okay, let's start with the general disclaimer. Now, I am way more interested in skincare than makeup. You know, I'm not that great at makeup, so I need forgiving products. I need products that are easy to apply, easy to use, and most importantly, they just make me feel like me, but just a smidge bit better. So for a bit of context, I'm 53 years old. I have balanced to dry skin that is definitely dehydrated. And for the record, I really don't like full coverage, heavy makeup. I am not trying to cover everything up. Instead, my goal is actually healthy looking skin. That's really all I want. So if makeup can actually help me achieve that goal just a little bit, we're totally in business. So all in all, I do have pretty good skin, so I really kind of want that to shine through more. So just to recap, what I really want is healthy looking skin with the side of youthful glow and then just a touch of coverage. That is my ideal recipe. So all the products in this video sit more in that tinted serum, lightweight foundation space. So if full coverage is your jam, this may not be the video for you. Now I have done demo videos on all 5 of these products, so I will put links to those down below. There may be a card or 2 up here too, so you can see my skin before and you can see the after images, as well as how I actually apply them to my skin. Now this video was actually pretty hard because despite the fact that I'm not really a makeup girl, I seem to have a lot of complexion products, and I definitely have more than 5 that I use. But I had to choose, and these are the ones that I use the most. And I think to keep things fair, I've listed them in alphabetical order because I couldn't think of any other way to do it, you know? I mean, I love them all. I truly love them all. And there's no clear winner, right? And I like them all kind of for different reasons and at different occasions. They're kind of like my children, you know? I don't have a favorite. You know, they're special in their own ways. Although both of my children would say that they are the favorite. If these could speak, what would they say? So 3 of the foundations are ones I actually discovered in 2023, so they've managed to carry into 2024, and 2 of them are from this year. First up is a drugstore product, and I'm really sorry, but it's the only drugstore product in this video. Sorry. I know there are lots and lots of good ones. I just haven't really tried that many yet. This is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Serum. So what they say, the first tinted serum with 1% hyaluronic acid, this hybrid innovation that blends makeup and skincare gives skin a hydrated feel and it smooths over time. Now, just for the record, I don't look for makeup to improve my skin. It's not really what it's here for. However, it is a bonus if there are skin-loving ingredients. I mean, the more the merrier, right? So anyway, this was actually an impulse purchase. I wasn't even meaning to buy this. This was last year when I was at Walgreens and I was in there looking specifically for a totally different foundation and they didn't have it. So I picked this up instead. And I can swear to you, I wore nothing else but this until it was practically gone. I've repurchased this foundation twice, and I very seldom repurchase foundations. I usually just kind of move on to the next best thing. So this is one of these holy grails. It was at the top of my 2023 purchases of last year. This is a winner. So if you want lightweight, barely there, you know, you but better makeup, then this is perfect. Now in the US, it comes in 14 shades. Mine is the 4.5 to 5.5, which is a medium. But on this side of the pond, it has a slightly different name. It's called the Nude Plumping Tinted Skin Serum. I suspect there's some regulation over here about using hyaluronic acid in the title. Who knows? But it only comes in 10 colors. So of course I'm between 2 of them, so it's not ideal. So the next time I'm home, I'm gonna pick up another one. But before we get into application and stuff, there is one serious downside to this product. It is the packaging. It comes in a glass bottle, which is fine. It's not my favorite because, well, it might be pretty, it's heavy, it's not great for travel, but it's fine. But the dropper, it comes with the dropper and it sucks. It's messy, it's wasteful. I hated it so much. So what I started to do was to just tap my brush against the dropper to pick up a tiny bit of product. And that helped to sort of minimize the mess. And in fact, it did make it last a heck of a lot longer. And that's the way that I was able to use it and to apply it to my face. Now, from there, it's actually super, super easy to use. Now, when I apply a foundation, I always do it to the center of my face because that's where I carry my redness. So I would lightly just tap it to distribute the product on my face, and then I would just do a little buffing around. And then as far as the perimeter of my face, I don't need a lot of coverage there. Even though I do have some age spots and whatever, it's fine. I found this easy to use. It was super fast to apply, and it's just a delight. It is definitely a lightweight tinted serum as opposed to a foundation. You don't even feel it on your skin at all. It just kind of blurs things out. It just takes down my redness and evens out the skin tone, which is exactly what I'm going for. So it's hydrating, it's glowy, it looks like me. It's just a slightly better version of me. So looking at the before and afters, it's not heavy. It's just lovely. Now, I did eventually pick up a separate pump from Amazon, and then I just took the dropper out and put the pump on, which worked a treat. So I can put a link for that down below if you want to check it out. This is such a great foundation. It really is. And it's less than 20 bucks. It is by far the cheapest you're going to find here. And I think it's just a steal. You heard it here, folks. Okay, number 2 is probably my hardest working foundation. This is by RMS Beauty. It is called the Re-Evolve Natural Finish Foundation. What they say, it's a skincare infused natural finish medium coverage foundation. It provides all day wear, is water and sweat resistant, and it's hydrating for the skin. This is the foundation I wear when I'm going out, right? So when how I look really matters, this is what I wear because it is just a flawless finish. I mean, flawless. In fact, it's what I'm wearing today, and I hope it looks as good on camera as it actually does in person. So nice. So if you're not familiar, this is a brand created by celebrity makeup artist Rosemary Swift, and she worked with Gucci, all the big names, as well as the Victoria's Secret Angels. Need I say more? If only it made me look like one of the Victoria's Secret Angels. But this, my friends, is the longest wearing foundation I have ever used. Now, if you know me at all, if you've been to this channel, you know that makeup just doesn't last on me. It just doesn't. My skin is super dehydrated and it just sucks everything up. So generally, when I leave the house in the morning, I look great. But by lunchtime, it's pretty much gone. But this stuff absolutely lasts. So this product is not runny like some of the other ones. It has a thickness to it. So what that means is it has a little bit more staying power. The first time that I applied this, now I've done 2 videos actually showcasing this product. The first time I was shocked with how much coverage it gives. So yes, this is definitely buildable to a medium. I kind of went, whoa! But then I learned if I really shear this out, it will give me the perfect finish. So if you are looking for a heavier foundation, this actually probably will work. But if you want something that just gives you more coverage without looking super, super heavy on the skin, then this is a fantastic option. It is flexible. You can just use a tiny bit. I think this is actually going to last me forever because I only need the teeniest, tiniest amount. And sometimes if my skin's feeling a little bit dry, I might add a little bit of oil to it because it just gives it a little bit more of a slip and a little bit more dewiness. Now, I honestly can use, if I could somehow figure out how to get it out of the pump, a quarter of a pump. I mean, you really don't need a lot. I adore this foundation. It is flawless and it stays put. So I wear it a lot. Now, I accidentally picked up the wrong shade the first time around. This is why color matching online is just so sucky, because you just don't know. I picked it up in a shade 22, but I learned that that was the wrong shade. So I got in touch with them. They have a color matcher where you can send them photos and they will assess everything. And she came back and said, yeah, wrong choice. So they very kindly sent me the color 33. It's actually the perfect color for me for most of the year. But what I'm finding is just during the summer, and I'm kind of coming out of the summer, it's still a hair too light. I may eventually buy the next darkest color and just to mix it. But instead, I just used a bit of the RMS bronzer. So it kind of warmed it up a little. And sure, whatever tan I might have had is going to be gone in 2 weeks anyway, so what does it matter? Another cool thing about this is that it's refillable. So this little guy just pops out and you can replace it with a new cartridge. I can't imagine how long it's going to take me to do that, but I just think that's great. And I really wish more brands were doing it. The only downside I have to this is that it's not easy to travel with, right? It's big. And it's honking, and because it's a liquid, it would need to go into that little plastic bag, so I don't travel with it. I really wish you guys would come up with a smaller version. RMS, if you're listening, Just a thought. This comes in 16 colors, so there's a pretty good selection. Now, as for cost, it's pretty pricey. It's 60 euros for this, but the refills are only 50. But you know what? I'm going to be buying it. I definitely think it's worth it, and it really works for me and my skin. So before we move on, if you're enjoying this video, I would love if you would give this video a thumbs up so that it reaches more people, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Number 3 on the list. This is by an Irish makeup artist, and the brand is called Sculpted by Aimee, and this particular product is called Hydratint. What do they say? This sheer skin perfecting serum marries the best of makeup with high performance skincare. It nourishes and protects all types of skin while adding a sheer veil of color that's perfect for a natural, barely there look. Oh yes. So I've applied this 2 different ways, which is kind of unusual. And the first was with my fingers. And I wanted to try it because they said that it feels like a moisturizer. It does. Like, it felt so nice going onto the skin. It was easy to absorb, and it just left a very slight sheen to the skin. But I also tried it with the brush just to compare it, which is still my favorite method because, as you all know, I don't like getting my hands all dirty. And it also lets me kind of pat the product into the skin, so I think you get more coverage with the brush. So it really depends on what you want that finish to be. So it was actually kind of funny because I generally hate using my fingers, but there was something quite nice about it. If I didn't have to wash them afterwards, I probably would do that more often. But either way, the final result is just gorgeous. I mean, it just evens out my skin tone, which is really what I'm going for. No redness, you know? And it has that glowy finish, so it makes my skin look healthy. So it's just enough coverage to reduce the redness and nothing more. The finish is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I think I wore this every day for 3 weeks. Even on the days that I didn't want to wear makeup, I wore this because it felt good on my skin and it just had that right finish. Okay, I have to be honest, it was a bit tricky because I have 3 different complexion products, all by Sculpted by Aimee, and I could have picked any of them. They are absolutely outstanding, and each for a different occasion. Yes, I bought all 3, and yes, I wear all 3. But I think this is the one I go for the most because it has that lightness to it, right? When you just don't want a lot, which is mostly where I sit, it is perfection. The other thing that's so great is the size. I mean, it's dinky. It's great for travel. It's small, it's lightweight. I can stick this in my little liquids baggie and I'm good to go. So this is probably the one that I travel with the most. Well, I did until the next one. But this comes in 20 shades. 20 shades is great. And it only costs 25 euros. I mean, it's a great deal. And I know that all of these brands, by the way, even though they might originate on this side of the pond, they do ship everywhere. So just to let you know. So this is just a little winner. So next was a 2024 home run. And it's really unlike any other makeup that I have ever used. This is SEINT. Now, I recently did a video about it, so you may have caught that, and if not, I'll make sure I list that down below as well. But it took me 2 years, 2 years to try this makeup. I bought it 2 years ago, and it sat in a drawer because I was too intimidated to use it. I didn't know what to do with it. So I asked professional makeup artist Michelle Spieler to join me here on YouTube for a video so that she could teach me how to use it. So we did that step by step. And it was such a blast. Like, she's just a ray of sunshine. If you don't follow her, you should, because everything that she does is specifically geared for people like me who are on the older side of things. So this makeup is really designed, in my own opinion, for people who don't really want to wear makeup. That's not entirely true. So you don't layer product on top of product on top of product, which can actually get quite heavy, but rather you just place product exactly where you need it. And we don't need it in every place, right? So if you see this close up, so it's actually quite waxy. It really has a different feel to it. It's kind of a cream, but not a cream. And it has a different consistency to it, but it warms up so beautifully when it hits the skin. Now, I'm not saying this isn't buildable. It is buildable. And there are loads of makeup people who wear SEINT and love it. But I choose to use it for a very particular reason. Because it can be used so sparingly, it can create a very natural look. So sometimes you can't even see where the makeup ends and the skin begins. And that's really what I'm going for. So I liken it to the French woman aesthetic. You know, they're known for wearing very little makeup, if any, and really trying to celebrate what they have. So instead of a concealer that really goes over big portions of your face, you use color correctors and the tiniest brush to eliminate a blue vein here or a red blemish there. It's actually quite genius. So you may have very little anything on huge parts of your face and you're sort of spot treating. And I just love that idea. So there isn't this idea that there has to be makeup everywhere. You just use it where you want. Now, for some strange reason, the foundation color, which which they call highlighter, can be used very sparingly. So I just put it in little areas of redness. And then if I have redness here, I just use one color to take care of that. And if I have a little darkness here, I'll use another to take care of that. It's just great. And the brushes are amazing. So I think I have 5 or 6 brushes, so they all sort of do something different. So this palette contains everything you need for your face. Well, except a powder, which I don't use with this makeup anyway, or mascara. But what is fantastic is the travel. Like, this isn't considered a liquid. So you can just chuck this in your bag and off you go, and you have everything you need. You have your foundations, you have your bronzers or your contours, your blushes, and then your color correctors and eyeshadows. And that's it. It's just fabulous. So if you want to check it out, the video I did with Michelle, it is step-by-step how to use all of these pieces together. So that really gave me the confidence that I needed to make it a regular thing. I did learn that the foundation colors here were a little bit light, so I actually have her sending over some darker ones, which I can't wait to use. And this is something that I recommend you do a color match with. Now, I used Michelle 2 years ago. I think my colors have changed a bit since then, but these skew very light. So you might look at it online and go, oh, that's my shade, but chances are it isn't. This foundation or the highlighter comes in 24 shades, and each little tin is $16. So you have different colors. You can put them in and out of your little palette as needed. The only downside, is just a downside for me, is that I haven't been able to buy it here. Just in order to get these, I had to have my mom order them for me in the US, because they wouldn't even take a credit card that's outside of the US. However, I heard that later this year, they are going to be selling these in the UK. So that is very good news for me. And for those who care, because in that video there were a few, they are changing from an MLM business model to a traditional consumer company. So if that's really going to be in your budget, they're changing it. So maybe you'll give them a go, because I think it's amazing. And number 5 on my list is another home run by Trinny London. It is called the BFF All Day Foundation. I really love this too. So what do they say? Lightweight yet long wearing, BFF All Day is the secret to coverage without the cape. It's a breathable foundation, gives a modern, natural, matte finish that stays put all day or night long. Okay, so I have this in the shade Celts. They say this is buildable to a medium coverage and contains skin-loving ingredients like ceramides and B3. It is definitely on the thicker side. It's not as runny, so it definitely does have better staying power than some of the other lighter formulations. Now, in my opinion, it's not as long-lasting as RMS, but it's better than all of the others. Now, I tend to sheer it out a bit more, but you can definitely build this to have more coverage if that's what you're going for. So this retails for 48 euros and comes in 18 shades. Now, they also have an online match to me system, which helps you select the right colors based on your perceived skin tones. Then they'll make recommendations for which other products are right for you. So this is another beautiful finish. So as I said, it has a little bit longer staying power, and I've gotten a lot of use out of this. I've actually traveled with this one too. But the finish, it's not matte. It's totally not matte, in my opinion. And the side-by-side really kind of shows that I think it has a little bit of a glow, a little bit of luminosity, but not so much so that generally that glowy stuff doesn't have the staying power. So for me, it has that right combination and that right balance. So guys, that is it for today's video. These are my favorite foundations. These are the ones that I'm using and reaching for all of the time. These are my regulars and have been my regulars for ages, and I just love them. And they're quite different. Some are very light and some are very airy. Then you have the heavy hitters that are really going to stay in place when I need them to. It's a good variety. It's a good balance. There's a mixture of price points there. And for right now, this is all the stuff I'm using and love. What do you think? Have you tried any of these products? And if so, I would really love to hear your thoughts on them. And more importantly, what are you using? What are you loving? And what do I need to try? Because I'm always on the hunt. If you could look right over here, there's like a sea of foundation, which is probably not a good thing, but it's fun to play and it's fun to tinker. So guys, thanks again so much for joining me here today, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video. Bye. Now it's just warming up. Just give it a sec, a bit like myself. And we're back in action. Okay.